Hello and welcome to another Kemetic Byte. I'm your host Sharon. A lot of things happened over the holidays, so before we kick off 2019 with some book reviews and more topics, I want to catch you guys up on some of the things that happened over the holidays. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Zabora and her channel Kemetic Witchcraft. If you haven't subscribed to her channel yet, go for it. As a matter of fact, I think she's doing a special prize for the 500th subscriber, so that could be you. She's been a great support to this channel. One of the things that she's done is she has actually loaned me these 3 books, and I will be reviewing them in the coming weeks. So far I can say, if you have this one in your collection, then this one so far is pretty good. You know, you could do a lot worse than getting this one. You know, these two, that's another story, but we'll get to that. Also, by the way, if you check out her channel trailer, I animated that, so, you know, you should definitely go for it. Subscribe to her channel. She also sent me some cuppets, some actual Egyptian pellet incense. And it's in my Etsy store. Here you go. And I have to tell you, when she sent me the package, there's like my whole study just, you know, smelled wonderful. You know, it's like they talk about people owning cupcake shops and, you know, not wanting to eat the profits. You know, I have to tell myself, okay, I can't use any of this stuff as wonderful as it smells. But it's in my Etsy store. And that's something else I want to talk about. If you buy some of this, you're supporting her, and also in my Etsy store, this channel, you know, the Kemetic Reform, those good things. I have been working on trying to expand what things I have in that store. One of the things that's in there right now, I'm working on making more shrine boxes. Like this little one here. And here, let's see if you can see it. That's been lacquered onto the lid. The cool thing about this one, I actually got a little statue of Anubis. If you go and see the listing, then you have the option to buy it with the Anubis statue if you don't have one. Or if you want to put someone else in there, you can do that too. But the thing that I'm most proud of, and Zabora mentioned this in her channel, because I've done videos in the past, and I've, you know, heard people talk about trying to practice in secret because, you know, you're living with parents or other family members that are hostile to pagan religions. So, you can always get a stealth shrine. And this looks like an old library book until you open it up. And this one has Anubis. I just sold one that has Bast on the inside. I can do others as well. One of these might end up being the giveaway for Kemetic Witchcraft, you know, subscribers. But check it out. That's in my store. The philosophy that I have, and this is what I'm trying to go for with the store. To tell you a little story. See, 15 years ago, when I was practicing as a Buddhist, and I had a sweet little Japanese neighbor, we called her Mama-chan, and she gave me this nifty catalog. And yeah, this was back in the day when, you know, some of us still ordered things through print catalogs. You know, some of you guys, you know, might, you know, think, oh, that's for geezers. But what's fun about this, though, is I would sit here and look through some of the wonderful pictures, you know. Let me see if you can actually see this. So that's an example of a Buddhist altar. Now, this cabinet here, this is like the size of a piece of furniture. It's almost an entertainment center size. So some of the stuff in here, and look at this one, it's got like ebony and gold in it, you know, and stuff like that, rosewood. Some of that stuff's really expensive. But they also had things like on the back, they had different kinds of incense and candles. It was like a one-stop shop if you were a Nichiren Buddhist. And specifically, you know, SGI and Nichiren Shoshu, rather. But you could pretty much support your practice with this one specialty store that's based in Portland, Oregon. Now, those of us that are pagan Reconstructionists, wouldn't it be great if we had some place that was kind of like that? Where you can get the things that nobody else has, because everybody else is carrying the mainstream Wicca stuff, and, which, some of that's pretty cool, but, what if you don't want, a pentacle sarong, for, or altar cloth? You need something with, Eye of Horus or whatever. Those kinds of things. That's what I'm trying to do. And especially as I'm finding out more about sister Reconstructionist paths, like Hellenic Reconstructionism. I had someone commission me to do some beads for Antinous. And that was something I had never heard of before, but they showed me the website, and I was looking around on that, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And, of course, I have a friend in the area who is Roman Reconstructionist, and he commissioned me to do some artwork of Venus, who also, Aphrodite, if you're doing, Greek. So I scanned this artwork and made it into a candle, and it's got a hymn to Aphrodite on the back. And, of course, at Arkansas Pagan Pride, I met someone who worships the Sumerian goddess Nin Saba, who's sort of the Sumerian equivalent of Seshat. She's goddess of writing and wisdom, and also of agriculture. Right now what I have a soft spot for Inanna, Ishtar, and so this plaque is in the store as well. And see, here you're seeing the images not blurred out. You go in the Etsy store, and I've got a few things kind of blurred so that you can't really see all the naughty bits, so that nobody on Etsy complains. But as I go along, I'm going to try to expand more things in the store, and you can help by visiting the store on Etsy. It's Touch Treasures. Look in my ending, I put a link to it in there. If you see something that you want, grab it. If there's some other things, think about your practice and what are things that you would like to have, or tools that you need, or even stuff that you tend to go through a lot, that you might like to have a source you can get it from. One thing that I want to try to make, and I'm trying to get the supplies and figure out exactly how I'm going to build them, but those of you who are Roman Reconstructionists, you know what a lararium is. That's a goal, as I'm trying to find a way to build those and have them not, be $1 zillion. Because you can buy museum replicas, but, they're not cheap. So give me some feedback on some things that you're looking for, and we can keep expanding the store. And we can have a way to supply those of us who are kind of obscure pagans interested in non-mainstream things. Now, another thing that happened over the fall that I want to tell you about is I almost enrolled in grad school. See, I found out that the University of Memphis in Tennessee has an Egyptology program. And in fact, if you happen to be in high school, or you're, looking at going back to school, the University of Memphis has the country's only bachelor's program in Egyptology, which is great because you can start right off taking classes, from the same staff that teach the doctoral level classes, and you could double major if you wanted. You can, take it for a while and decide, is this what I want to keep doing? Which is great. Well, I already have 2 bachelors, so I was looking at going into their master's program. Because, see, there are other history programs you can take online. I was thinking, well, great, an Egyptology program online, that would be awesome. Well, I talked on the phone to the department head, and he explained that the Egyptology program is the only one that is not available online. You have to physically be there for classes. The reason why is because it's a very rigorous program. You have to be able to read in French, German, and you'll be studying the ancient Egyptian language. So you're going to be literate in 3 languages by the time you're done. I'm already reasonably literate in French, and German, I can work on. And I've been teaching myself the Egyptian language. I'm also trying to teach myself a little bit of Arabic right now. And what's interesting, there's a lot of similarities between the two. That'll be in another episode. But they said, as far as they know, there are no programs where you can study Egyptology online. Which means if you're not living in the area of an Egyptology program, you're pretty much stuck. You're going to have to move to somewhere that has a program. Disappointing as that was, though, it has a lot of significance for those of us in Kemetic land, because The Nisut of the Kemetic Orthodox says she got a master's through correspondence from a university in Australia. This is somewhere on one of their bio pages for her. I haven't been in a while, but, you know, it's not exactly something I'm burning to know about, but I remember this. Based on what that department head at the University of Memphis told me, one of two things is the case about Tamara Ciota's academic credentials. Either one, she went correspondence through a university in Australia instead of the University of Chicago, which was in her own backyard. Remember, Joliet, Illinois, that's like a stone's throw from Chicago. You know, why didn't she go for a master's there? If she actually did get a master's from someplace in Australia, that means they were okay with somebody studying Egyptology through correspondence or online. But the other alternative is that she is lying about her master's. And I realize this is going to be pretty harsh for some people to hear. But based on what I learned, because I'm trying to do that sort of thing, and you know, I can't haul off and move right now, so I'm going to have to wait. But what does this say about her and her authority as a spiritual figure for Kemeticism, for all things ancient Egyptian, if she's not being straight about her masters? You know, and that's not even getting into the doctorate, which, you know, that was in 2000. It's 2019. Why doesn't she have a doctorate by now? Why don't we know anything about what her abstract is? Who's on her committee? Because you have to form a doctoral committee, and it's got to be not just people from your university, but you need to get somebody from outside the discipline to come and be on your committee. And by the way, when you go and defend your dissertation, people can come and watch. You know, so you can have family, friends, members of your church, whatever, come and watch you defend your dissertation when you get to that point. Why is it that nobody knows about this? You know, so these are some things that I wanted to share with you because, again, I don't want to see anybody taken advantage of by someone saying one thing when it's not really the case. I'm going to do some more digging on this because, again, there's the possibility that there is a program in Australia that'll let you study Egyptology online. If y'all want to go and look for that, you know, let me know what you find. But it raises some questions. Now, I did actually have a question from a viewer that I wanted to get to, and I'm sorry it took me so long, you know, holidays and, you know, doing other things. I'm also, tonight I'm going to be doing some stand-up comedy at a local venue, and I'm actually getting paid to do it too. That's the cool part. So I have to write material. I was writing material for that when I was scripting this episode, and when I'm done here I'll be refreshing my material to make sure I'm ready for tonight. But in the meantime, Child of Bast had a question about a bedtime prayer for Bast. Now, of course, as far as historical sources go, unfortunately, Bast is one of those deities we don't have a whole lot of surviving material for. Bubastis, now known as Tel Basta, the town that was the center of her worship, is pretty much in ruins. We don't have a whole lot of things from there. But you can kind of comb through and find references here and there. And what's interesting is there is a reference to Bast in the coffin texts that talks about her protecting the deceased in that case, but the Egyptians drew parallels between those who were dead and those who were asleep. You know, and talking about her being their protection through the night like she protects the sun god. So with a little creativity you can, you know, adapt that to make, you know, modern prayers. So I'm going to finish off this video with that prayer that I put together and a little bit of footage of Bast, of one of the statues. You'll probably recognize the footage. And hopefully that'll be something that you can use. So in the meantime, I'm going to have a lot more book videos, book reviews, and hopefully get into some more things about Egyptian language, and any other topics that you have, just include those in your comments. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe here, subscribe to Kemetic Witchcraft, and until next time, Senepti. O Bast, great lady, great Eye of Ra, firstborn daughter of the Lord of all, be with me through the dark hours of night. May the glow of your eyes be my protection. Guard my sleep till the coming of dawn. till you shine forth in glory like Ra. In Ma'a. Do you have a question about Egyptian paganism? Share it in the comments section, and it could be the topic of the next Kemetic Bite. Don't forget to subscribe, and check the video description for more ways to support the Kemetic Independent channel.